think that, some of the concerns that people are talking about now is there going to be flatness in Australia? Are we going to move into a time of stagflation? Is there going to be a time of quietness? I don't know. I don't think the next 12 months is going to be that.
No, I don't think so. Stagflation gets thrown around a lot, but basically what's happening is we've got inflation now, but we've also got growth. It's inflation with growth, and there's a lot of pent-up demand after the lockdowns, and Australia's just a great place, a great economy to be investing in, to be working in, to be building a business in. And stagflation is when the price of things goes up, but you don't have growth, and you don't have a solid economy. It's just prices going up. So we don't have that at the moment. And I think what we'll see next year, Dom, is a lot of the inflation chats come out of the market a little bit. I think inflation will moderate. We do have really low rates, really, really ultra low rates. And so you have to expect inflation. But next year will be more of a year of adjustment, and the year after.
And it's interesting because people are talking about inflation, and there are a number of key things that is causing it. It's obviously low rates. It's been very difficult for things to get in and out of countries as well. So logistically, it's been tougher for things to move around. So that's gotten more expensive for building materials, for supplies of electronics, cars, everything it's gone up. Now we're going to see wage growth is what a lot of people are talking about, because 200,000 to 300,000 migrants haven't been coming into the country over the past 2 years. There is an undersupply of workers out there, and there is a lot of activity and a lot of business opening up. So hairdressers are getting pay rises, people in building industry getting pay rises. We're seeing pay go up. And yeah, I think that you're right. We're going to see a little bit of inflation for the short to medium term, and we're going to feel it. But have you got any concerns about hyperinflation?
No, not at all. And I'll tell you why. Because, see, we went through this big disruption to the global economy. Like, COVID just really put everybody on their bum, right? All around the world. So it wasn't like we had a Asia problem, like SARS, for example. It wasn't like we had an Ebola problem, which was Africa and a little bit in the West. Everywhere, nobody was immune from it. And so when that happens across the whole world, you get a disruption to everything, including supply chains. When you take, hundreds of millions of workers out of India and put them at home, when you do the same thing in China and everything else, you have to expect that there will be a impact to the supply, to the making of things. And that's what we've had. And so that's why things are expensive. Your loungers are expensive, your timber, your building goods, because they're all coming from markets that have been disrupted. And it will take time. It'll take 1 to 2 years for the ships to get back into the groove and for everything to get back to normal. But Dom, what's happening at the same time is there's a lot of disruption going on, right? And so the disruption that we see in technology is I believe, going to have a bigger impact in the long term to keep prices low. So let me give you an example. What's this guy talking about? If you take our business, for example, we're very frugal in the way that we spend money because we're a high growth business and we're growing, and we adopt technology wherever we can, and that technology stops us from wasting money. So what we'd need to spend 10 years ago, if we had to spend $1 million on something, today we can do it for 50 grand.
Yep.
And so that's a disruption happening in the market. If you have a look at cars, there's a lot of disruption in transport, for example, that will have a lower impact in the future. If you have a look at energy, we're moving to an economy and to government policies that are now trying to take fossil fuels out of the atmosphere. And there's going to be a lot of disruption to the way we consume energy. There's so much disruption to come. Banking, the way our banks treat us today. They beg us for business today. 30 years ago, you had to beg a bank to give you a loan. Today they are begging to give you their services. They're being disrupted. And so all this disruption, teaching, home learning, everything, food delivery, is going to have a downward impact on inflation.
It's interesting you say that. So just for all of you out there that are saying, well, Peter, like what would you spend $1 million on inside of Wealthi? Or what are you talking about specifically? Give me some examples. I've got one. So we now run an international business. We've got an office in London. We've got a setup in Buenos Aires. And for us to run an international business 10 or 20 years ago, it would have cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe $1 million to do it the way that we're doing it today, where we've been able to turn on these offices, the satellite offices, hire people, get the engine running very quickly, very cheaply, and in a very professional way as well.
And keep people happy
Yeah.
at the same time. So the thing about disruption is not only does the cost come down, but the product gets better. So a better product at a lower cost. This equipment, for example, we would have had to have spent 20 grand on a studio 10 years ago, the cameras, the editing and everything else. Today we can do it at a fraction, and this is now outdated. We can probably go out and buy technology that's even better than this. So you multiply that across the whole economy, Dom. You look at education, for example. You look at healthcare, for example, telehealth. All these things are limiting factors. Sure, there are factors that are driving prices up. Ships coming from China and what you have to pay for a container. But that's because of the shock we had. And that will adjust. So there's short-term inflation, but long-term, I believe, the game is about how disruption, how your afterpays, and all these businesses that have transformed the way we live are going to limit inflation.